In Nobody's Hero, coming up in just 25 minutes' time, young Billy Austin is on the run on the streets of London with no money and only his wits to protect him. So don't forget you can see today's episode of that exciting serial at 4:45.
I bet you're still asleep. Emu, got some more pig food? Here. Emu, stop it. Give us, no. Where are you? Emu, come out. How? What are you doing? No. I know you're in there. Now come out because I'm... Now, put these back in there. Look, I'll explain in a minute. See, it's my new idea. That you see all this pig food we got. Don't chuck all the cabbages in there. I want... Stop chucking this pig food about. Won't be fit for human consumption in a minute. Look, now, I'll show you what we do. See, we get some pig food. It's my new idea, this is. Come over to the machine, and we put it into the hopper, like that. See, we wind the perforator here. That's enough. And you want 2 turns on this because it's very fragile. Put it onto automatic. And then just wait for the machine to do the rest. It's now passing through the purifier and the decondensing unit. And any minute it should be... Look at that! Tin pig food. Good, isn't it? There's a knock at the door. Oh, 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 there's a knock at the door. Yeah, actually, you're just in time because Emu and I were just going to have a break and have a little story, weren't we? So, do you want to join us? Yeah! So, sit down. Over there. That's in my seat. Where's my seat? Oh, I don't know. Who's got the storybook? Down here. Here it is. Nice, isn't it? You like this, don't you? Let's have a look. Thank you very much. Now, this is a story about Goldilocks. Stop it! You don't want the story about Goldilocks, no? All right. I'll find another one there. Oh! This is a story about Jack and the Beanstalk. Oh, yes, this is a nice one. This is a very nice one because once upon a time, they all start once upon a time, in a special land called Honolulu lived a little boy called Jackie Paper. Now, he had a funny name, Jackie Paper. But it was a magical boy, not magical paper, a magical boy, because he'd cut himself out of paper and he'd coloured himself in with crayons and he turned into a real little boy. It's good, isn't it? Yeah. And Jackie Paper had a special friend. It was a toy, great big stuffed dragon, which, just stop it. It's only a story. Great big stuffed dragon, but it was a very nice dragon, and he had beautiful green scales all over his body. And Jackie called him Puff, because dragons huff and puff, and they breathe out fire. Yeah, stop it! It's all only a story. And Jackie and Puff were very, very good friends, and Puff lived in the bottom of the toy cupboard, which he called his secret cave. And every day the toy cupboard door would open and Jackie would come in and show him lots of things that he'd been collecting, like birds' nests and frogs and bits of string and sealing wax and all those things. And Puff used to love it very much, being Jackie's special friend. He loved it in the winter time, when he and Jackie used to put their coats on and go out in the snow. And he loved it in the springtime, when Puff and Jackie would go running through the fields and find all the new buds and the flowers. And they loved it in the summertime, when they'd run about all over the place in the hot sun all day long. But Puff especially liked it in the autumn time, when they'd go down by the sea and the autumn mist would come swirling in and wrap itself all around Jackie and Puff. But Puff would go, rah, just like that, just to frighten anybody away. And that was a very special time, because Jackie used to make up lovely stories about how he and Puff would get in a boat and go sailing across the seas with the sail billowing forth. And Puff would lift Jackie up on the end of his tail so Jackie could scan the horizon and look for pirate ships. But when they saw any, Puff would go, rah! And the pirate ships would lower their flag in salute. And they'd sail on and go to foreign lands where noble princes and kings would all bow down to Puff and to Jackie. And Puff was so happy, he used to sit in his little cave in the bottom of the toy cupboard and say to himself, I'm so happy, I want to stay as happy as this forever and ever and ever, which you can do if you're a toy. But it's very different with little boys, because little boys don't stay little boys forever. They grow up into bigger boys, and then into young men, then older men, and perhaps wiser men. And once they start to grow up, they don't have toys anymore, and so they never go back and play with them. And one day, this happened to poor Puff. Jackie never came. He never opened that door. He never showed him any of the things he'd been collecting, and he never came the next day either. Or the next day. And Puff got sadder and sadder and sadder. And one by one, all of his green scales dropped off. And Puff would just sit and remember those happy days. Especially when he frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu.
Little Jackie Paper loved that rascal Puff, and brought in strings and sealing wax and other fancy stuff. Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea
And frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu.
Oh, no. Oh, it's not fair. Oh, what a sad story. Oh, dear, oh, dear. Oh.
Croc, what on earth are you blubbering about?
Oh, Mrs. Grotbags, your Majesticals. They're all down there telling sad stories. It's all about a little dragon what was loved. And then the little boy grows up and he doesn't love him anymore. Oh, it's sad. And it's really got to me.
Here's something else that's going to get to you.
Excited. Are you cutting out pig food labels, are you? Yeah. And you put it on. Oh, is that good? Yes. Good. This is very good. And, oh, you're going to mend the delivery bike, are you? I'm glad you're doing that, because it's a puncture, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, very good. Yeah, well, if you get it mended, then we can start to get all these tins out all over the... I wonder who left the door open. What are you doing with that?
We're going to get a submarine. Yeah.
Make a submarine?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea, yeah. Why don't you go make a submarine? Remember why it's called?
take more care of you. Those brats in that Pink Windmill will have to take care today, because I am in a right bezzazzing mood.
I do love to see Her Royal Majesty Grotbags like this. She's so strong, so demanding, so powerful.
You bet I am, Buster.
And I'm such a creep.
If you've never heard of that Pink Windmill, you will after this, because I'm going to bezzazz them off the face of the earth.
Yes, and that will really put them on the map.
Then I'll move in, take control of that emu, and rule the world. There it is. Stand by. Dive, dive, dive. Tally-ho, tally-ho.
Hey! Hi! Grotbags! Hi! Hey! Grotbags! Grotbags. Action stations. Action. If this keeps up, there'll be nothing left of the Pink Windmill. Come on, well, what is it then? What are you doing?
Come to the window, quick.
Come to the window, quick, he says.
Get some ammunition.
Ammunition? Oh, it's a cannon. It's a cannon. Hey, that's not ammunition, that's my cabbages.
Oh, you Royal Grotbags! Oh, they're firing at us!
They're firing at us. I know they're firing at us. Fight fair, you rotten brats.
Oh, who is it gone?
Oh, you're majestical! Can't we call it off?
Call it off? Never! If they want to fight dirty, then who can play at that game? Bezzazz! Done! I have made it thunder and lightning all around that Pink Windmill. Now they'll have to remove that barrel in case it gets struck by lightning. Oh! 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 What's happening?
Oh, you're majestical! Baby, stop it! Stuck in the notepad!
Oh, get it out! Do something, Counter, you bloated, puffed-up dustbin liner! Do something!
I am! I'm covering my eyes!
Oh, I feel sick!
I'll tell you what, but bring this in, just in case it gets struck by lightning. It's a good idea. Close the window. What's that? That wasn't thunder. What was that?
I don't know. I can't see anything out of this window. No.
There's a knock at the door.
I say, there's a knock at the door.
There's a knock at the door.
There's a knock at the door.
There's a knock at the door. Oh, there's a knock at the door. Oh,
There's a knock at the door. There's a knock at the door. There's a knock at the door.
Excuse me! Can we come in, please? We've crashed! And we've had to walk all the way here. It was the only place for miles and miles and miles, and all in the pouring rain. And I'm afraid Mrs. Grotbags has caught the most dreadful cold. It's
I'll say, it was your own fault for making it rain. Yeah, and if you made it rain, why didn't you waggle your bezoozle stick and make it stop raining? Then you wouldn't have had to walk through it.
I tried, but look, I'm ever so sorry, but if you could help an old lady. Achoo! Achoo!
All right, then. Well, you can come in, but no tricks, mind.
Oh, no tricks.
Witches are the...
All right, then, come and sit. Let's help her. Bring that down. And let's get the place cleared up, because we've got guests. That's it, put it there. Come on, you come and sit down. That's it. Make it all nice. There. Put your blanket there. There. There you are. Take your shoes off. Oh. Worse than the cabbage. That's it. Put your feet in. There.
Oh, thank you, thank you. You're all so kind to dear old Grotbags. How could an old lady ever thank you?
Well, you could make it stop raining for a start, couldn't you?
Yes, here are Mrs. Grotbags. I've cleaned your possessor. See if it will work.
Ah, no tricks, mind.
No tricks. Bezzazz.
Hey, she's done it! It stopped raining.
Has it?
It's like a brand new day.
Everybody look around. There's a reason to rejoice, you see. Everybody come out. Let's commence to singing joyfully. Everybody look up. For the hope that we've been waiting on. Everybody be glad, 'cause our silent fear and dread are gone. Freedom, you see, has got a heart singing so joyfully. Just look about, you owe it to yourself to check it out. Can't you feel a brand new day? 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 Woo! Yeah! Everybody be glad, because the sun is shining just for us. Everybody wake up into the morning, into happiness. Hell, whoa! It's like a different way of living now. Thank you, world! I always knew that we'd be free somehow. In harmony, let's show the world that we've got liberty. It's time to change, listening so independently. Freedom, you see, it's got a heart singing so joyfully. Just look about, you owe to yourself to check it out. Can't you feel a brand new day? Can't you feel a brand new day? Can't you feel a brand new day? Can't you feel a brand new
Everybody be glad, 'cause the sun is shining just for us. Everybody wake up.
Wake up.
Into morning, into happiness.
Hell, whoa! It's like a different way of living now. Thank you, world! I always knew that we'd be free somehow. In harmony, let's show the world that we've got liberty. It's time to change, we're still so independently. Freedom, you see, it's got a heart singing so joyfully. Just look about, you owe to yourself to check it out. Can't you feel a brand new day? 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 Can't you feel a brand new
All right, you lot. I'll be back to get that emu. I'll catch him.
Just like she caught a cold.
We can say that we love you in you, even when you're being gone. With no
An 11-year-old on the run in London without money. Nobody's Hero continues on Watch It in a moment.